I went to Dollar Tree and picked up the weirdest garden hacks I could find. Some of them looked so strange, I honestly couldn't believe people said they worked. But today, we're putting them to the ultimate test. From plastic forks in the soil to shower curtains, as mini greenhouses, I'm trying them all to see which ones are brilliant, and which ones are just plain ridiculous. Welcome back to Greenhaven Homes, the place where we turn budget finds into big garden ideas. If you love saving money and transforming your space at the same time, you're in the right place. Let's jump straight into our first hack. Hack number 1 is the plastic fork pest barrier. The idea is simple. You stick Dollar Tree plastic forks into the soil, with the prongs pointing upward, and they're supposed to keep cats, dogs, and even little critters like squirrels from digging up your plants. I grabbed a pack of forks and started pressing them into the soil around my vegetable bed. At first it looked a little odd, like a tiny white picket fence gone wrong, but I was curious to see if it actually worked. After setting them up, I left the garden alone for a bit, to see if any animals would dare come close. Normally I'll find paw prints or fresh soil scattered around, but this time nothing. The forks really did create a small barrier that kept curious paws out. Now, it's not the prettiest hack. If you're going for a stylish garden look, plastic forks sticking out of the ground probably won't make the cover of a magazine. But in terms of function, this hack is surprisingly effective, and it costs just $1. Verdict? It works, but you'll need to decide if you can live with the strange look in your garden. Hack number 2 is the pool noodle planter trick. Dollar Tree sells those colorful foam noodles for kids swimming, but gardeners say they make amazing fillers for heavy pots. The idea is that instead of wasting expensive soil, you cut the pool noodles into pieces and place them at the bottom of your container. They're supposed to improve drainage, make the pot lighter, and save you money on soil. I grabbed a couple of noodles, cut them into chunks, and filled the bottom of a large planter. Then I poured soil on top and planted a few flowers. Right away, I noticed the pot was much easier to move. It wasn't nearly as heavy as when it's filled completely with dirt. When I watered the plant, the excess water drained out nicely, so the noodles weren't blocking anything. The only downside I can see is long-term durability. Since pool noodles are made of foam, they may break down over time, and you might need to replace them after a season or two. But for the price and the convenience, this hack is clever. Verdict? It works. It saves soil, lightens your pots, and gives you good drainage. Definitely a win if you container garden on a budget. Hack number 3 is using a muffin tin as a seed starter. The idea is that each little cup becomes a perfect spot for soil and seeds, turning a basic baking pan into a mini greenhouse tray. I picked up a Dollar Tree muffin pan, filled each cup with potting mix, and dropped in a few herb seeds. The setup was quick, neat, and surprisingly sturdy. The cups held just the right amount of soil without wasting anything. To keep the moisture in, I placed a clear Dollar Tree storage lid over the pan like a dome. Within a few days, I started to see tiny sprouts pushing through the soil. The muffin tin kept everything organized, and watering was easy since I could give each cup a small splash without flooding the whole tray. The only issue, there's no drainage hole at the bottom, so you have to be careful not to overwater or the soil will stay soggy. But aside from that, it's a great budget-friendly way to start a bunch of seeds at once. Verdict? It works. It's simple, and it's surprisingly practical if you're just starting out with seedlings. Hack number 4 is using coffee filters at the bottom of your planters. The idea is that the filter keeps soil from slipping out of the drainage hole while still allowing water to pass through. It's supposed to make planting neater and less messy. I grabbed a pack of Dollar Tree coffee filters and placed one inside a medium-sized pot. Then I poured in soil, gave it a good watering, and waited to see what happened. Normally when I water without anything at the bottom, I'll see bits of soil leaking out along with the water. But this time, the filter held everything in place while the water drained through just as it should. It made cleanup easier, and when I lifted the pot later, there was no trail of soil stuck to the table. The filter is thin enough to let roots spread out naturally, so it doesn't block growth either. The only drawback is that coffee filters can eventually break down, especially if you water often. But since you get a whole pack for $1, replacing them isn't a big deal. Verdict? This hack definitely works. It's cheap, simple, and keeps your gardening space cleaner. Hack number 5 is the plastic bottle drip irrigation system. The idea is that you poke a few small holes into a Dollar Tree water, bury it near your plants, and fill it with water. The bottle is supposed to slowly release moisture into the soil, keeping your plants hydrated without constant watering. I took a clean bottle, made 3 tiny holes on the sides, and buried it about halfway into the soil next to a tomato plant. Then I filled it with water, and waited. Right away, I noticed a slow, steady drip escaping through the holes. The soil around the bottle stayed damp much longer than the rest of the garden. This hack is especially useful if you're busy or if you live somewhere hot, because it keeps plants from drying out too quickly. The only issue is that you'll need to refill the bottle fairly often, especially for thirsty plants. But for small garden beds or containers, it's a clever way to keep moisture consistent. Verdict? It works, it's practical, and it can save you time on watering, especially during summer heat. Hack number 6 is turning a mesh laundry bag into a compost sack. The claim is that the breathable mesh allows air to circulate while holding leaves, grass clippings, or kitchen scraps, helping them break down faster into compost. I picked up a large laundry bag from Dollar Tree and filled it with dry leaves, a few fruit peels, and some coffee grounds. Right away, I noticed how easy it was to carry around and dump garden waste into. Unlike a big compost bin, this bag was lightweight and portable. Over the next few days, I gave it a shake and could feel the contents starting to soften and shrink as they broke down. The mesh definitely allowed airflow, which is key for composting. The only drawback is size. If you generate a lot of garden waste, one bag won't hold very much. It's more of a small-scale compost solution than a full replacement for a bin. Verdict? This hack works if you want a simple starter-friendly compost option. It's not for heavy use, but it's a neat little trick for beginners. Hack number 7 is using a shower caddy as a vertical garden. The idea is simple. You hang a metal shower caddy on a fence wall or balcony rail, and it instantly becomes a tiered planter for herbs or small flowers. I picked up a sturdy Dollar Tree shower caddy and hooked it onto my garden fence. To test it out, I placed small pots of basil, mint, and parsley in the baskets. Right away, I noticed how organized it looked, almost like a little herb tower. It also saved ground space, which is perfect if you're gardening in a small yard or even on an apartment balcony. The weight was the only challenge. Once the soil and plants were in place, the caddy became heavy, so it's important to secure it tightly. A strong hook or zip ties can make a big difference in keeping it stable. Verdict? This hack works beautifully for lightweight plants like herbs and small flowers. It's affordable, space-saving, and adds a creative touch to your garden wall. Hack number 8 is the aluminum foil pest deterrent. The idea is that wrapping foil around the base of plants or hanging strips nearby will scare off birds and small insects because of the reflective shine and movement. I grabbed some Dollar Tree aluminum foil and wrapped a few plants at the base, then hung strips on nearby stakes so they would flutter in the wind. At first it looked a little over the top, like my garden had turned into a tiny disco, but I was curious to see if it would actually work. Over the next few days, I noticed fewer bird visits near the wrapped plants. Some of the smaller insects seemed to avoid the shiny strips as well. However, the effect wasn't permanent. Birds eventually got used to it, and the foil can get bent or crumpled in wind or rain. Verdict? This hack works for short-term pest control, especially for deterring birds temporarily. It's fun and cheap, but don't expect it to be a foolproof, long-term solution. Hack number 9 is the Dollar Tree dish rack plant holder. The idea is to repurpose a simple wire dish rack to organize and display small potted plants. It's supposed to save space and give your garden a quirky, organized look. I picked up a standard metal dish rack and placed several small pots of succulents and herbs on it. Right away, I noticed how it lifted the plants off the ground and created a neat vertical display. Watering was easy too, because the rack allowed excess water to drip through without pooling around the pots. The only drawback is weight. If you have heavier pots, the rack can bend or tip over. It works best with lightweight plants or small containers. Also, it's more of a fun aesthetic hack than a functional gardening necessity, but it definitely adds character to a small garden or patio. Verdict? It works well for display and organization, especially for small spaces, and it's a creative way to reuse an everyday item. Hack number 10 is the Dollar Tree Shower Curtain Mini Greenhouse. The idea is to create a small clear greenhouse, using a shower curtain to cover seedlings, keeping them warm and humid, so they grow faster. I grabbed a clear shower curtain and draped it over a simple frame made from PVC pipes. Then I placed a tray of seedlings underneath and secured the curtain so it didn't blow away. Almost immediately, the air inside felt warmer and more humid compared to the outside garden. Over the next few days, the seedlings looked healthier and grew a little faster than the ones left uncovered. The curtain was also lightweight and easy to remove for watering or sunlight. The only downside is that it's not very sturdy in strong wind or heavy rain, so you need to monitor it closely. Verdict? This hack works surprisingly well for starting seedlings and protecting young plants. It's cheap, effective, and perfect for gardeners looking to give their seedlings a head start. And that's it. 10 of the weirdest Dollar Tree garden hacks tested. And now it's time to see which ones actually worked and which ones were more hype than help. The clear winners for me were the plastic bottle drip irrigation, the Muffin Tin Seed Starters, and the Shower Curtain Mini Greenhouse. They were practical, affordable, and actually made a noticeable difference in my garden. The hacks that were fun but less functional included the aluminum foil pest deterrent and the dish rack plant holder. They worked in a small way, but they're more for novelty or short-term use than serious gardening solutions. Some hacks were a mixed bag. The pool noodle planters and the coffee filter trick are clever and inexpensive, but you'll need to pay attention to durability or long-term maintenance. The mesh laundry bag compost sack and the shower caddy vertical garden are great for small-scale projects or beginners, but they might not handle heavy-duty use. Overall, this experiment proved that you can absolutely find clever, inexpensive ways to improve your garden at Dollar Tree. But not every hack is worth the effort. The key is picking the ones that actually save time, money, or space, and having fun trying the rest. Which of these hacks would you try in your own garden? Drop a comment and let me know your favorite, or tell me if you've tested any of these before. If you enjoyed watching me try these crazy Dollar Tree hacks, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video with a fellow gardener. Thanks for joining me today at Green Haven Homes, where budget-friendly finds meet big garden ideas.